All right, you ready?
Yes, of course.
All right, well, here we go. 2 shows, 2 days, 2 parts yesterday, and I think we're going to go 2 parts today. So let's settle in, right?
Right.
All right, so hello, good afternoon, morning, evening, wherever one may be located. Again, we're here in southeastern United States, and we are in Alabama. And I know we have people all around the globe that actually tune in, so if you're sleeping, have a good rest and good morning tomorrow. And if it's dinner time or wherever, somewhere in between, then hopefully you're having a good day. All right. Anyway, so it's August 1st. Here we go. Kids start school tomorrow, right?
No,
Wait a minute.
they start school Monday.
Oh, they meet their teacher today.
I have to take them to meet the teacher today, yes.
Yeah. So we have 5 kids, and 2 of them are girls. The other 3 are boys. So the 2 girls, grades going into 1st grade, and one's going into 4th grade, correct?
Right.
So they both get to go meet their teachers respectively today at I think 4 o'clock.
Anywhere from 4 to
4 to
6.
6?
Yeah.
So I had to write in something real quickly about teachers. I had to do that. I mean, and I could have written for days about teachers, but because I got in deep thought about teachers is one of the reasons why we went ahead and did another show today. On top of results in the City Open in San Jose and Serena's loss and viewer comments and a lot of stuff. So we got some action.
Yeah.
Got some action. Let's go.
Some weird action.
Come on.
Those were some weird matches last night.
All right, so my two daughters of 5 kids, the other 3 again are boys, get the opportunity to go meet their teacher today. I have to say much respect and thanks to every teacher on the entire planet. Okay, I mean think about it. Where would we be without teachers? In one way, shape, or form. If I didn't have a kindergarten teacher, or a 2nd grade teacher, or a 5th grade teacher, or a college professor, or a tennis coach, or a mother or father that taught me something and a lot of something, where would we be?
We wouldn't be anywhere. I mean, a lot of gratitude to the teachers. Isn't your mom a teacher?
My mother was a teacher. Her mother was a teacher. My father, being a physician, is taught at many different levels. So needless to say, I think there are teachers in every walk or walks of life. I think if we just look out at the trees, the squirrels can teach us something about what they eat or when they sleep. I think if we look at our 1st grade teachers when they put 2 checks next to your name on the board, and you still remember that to this day, that one time where you learned that you needed to be a little bit more.
Yeah, I have a few teachers I remember. One that encouraged me to play a lot of tennis. I actually have her on social media. She was my teacher, gym teacher in elementary school, and one of my first tennis coach teachers. Her name is Miss Valentine, and she actually pushed me to go, deeper into tennis. So, yeah, without teachers, we wouldn't be anywhere.
Agreed. By the way, we've had about 58 shows now, and within those shows we've had squirrels and weed eaters and diesel trucks and wasps and lightning. Today we have a new. We have a power washer behind us. Power washer behind us.
Maybe we should borrow the power washer for the tennis court.
Well, we have a power washer today. Let's go, power washer. It's not a hindrance. It's not that bad, so we decided to go ahead and proceed. If it takes the same location as long to power wash the driveway that it took them to mow the grass, I think we might be hearing that power washer until next week. Right?
Sure.
I'm just kidding. All right, so well, maybe not really, but I mean it in good fun. All right, so anyway, again, I must say that from myself personally, and I'm sure to anyone watching, the teachers have taught all of us very, very, very valuable, priceless lessons that could never be valued at any monetary amount, right? I mean,
no, and they're super underpaid.
So thank you to all the teachers out there, and no matter who the teacher is or in what context, thanks to all the teachers. Moving forward, so today, as usual, we're going to discuss viewer comments, topics, results, tennis news, ideas, new topics. A new viewer, a new comment was made today as well. We'll discuss that and more. Maybe we'll get some more lightning, thunder, squirrels, birds, dogs, weed eaters, power washers, diesel trucks, lawnmowers, neighbors. Who knows? We'll see what happens today, right? I think we'll have something, right?
Right.
It never ceases to amaze I mean, how quick we get this random stuff. So, all right. So, anyway, so some interesting things to go over. So we're gonna jump in immediately into viewer comments. So you might want to get the old trusty laptop that's missing an E button ready to go.
Okay.
All right. So, by the way, this is the second show in 2 days, and generally we take a day off unless it's a major, and we plan to do it daily. But we had some action today, so we didn't have a lot of time to let a multitude of comments build up. But we were pretty stoked this morning about the Serena match, even though it went the other way, and a lot of other things. So we went ahead and did a show today. So the first comment I'm going to get right into was from Johann Sebastian. Good to hear from you. Haven't heard from you in a while. Hope all is well. And he mentioned the thunderstorm from yesterday. So if you have just seen this show for the first time and you want to see like a really kind of cool, kind of freaked out actually, at 17 minutes and 20 seconds into yesterday's video, part 2, there was a lightning bolt. And I don't know how we played it off like that, but this lightning bolt, I kid you not. We're sitting here, and directly behind this pine tree behind me, about 50 yards past, we're sitting there, we're talking into the camera, and this like sheer bolt of like 4, lightning, He-Man, like, came down and snapped right when we were sitting there looking at it, and the phone flickered, and the whole block shook. But we had it on film, at least the back side of it.
Well, you could see the light.
Yeah, my phone flicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense. So check that out at 17 minutes and 20 seconds in of part 2 yesterday. At least it's worth it. If you hate what we do, sorry, but check out the lightning. It was pretty cool. Steve Clevenger, I'm sure you like that one. All right, so great to hear from you, though. Glad you're doing well. Hopefully we hear more from you soon. The next comment 2, came from Furzy09. So I got to do a drum roll here. All right, drum roll. You ready?
Yes.
You ready? Furzy09 comes in with the first U.S. Open prediction. I like it. I'm really excited about that. Let's go. So that means he's getting ready.
He says,
okay, hold on real quick before she reads. If his predictions cannot happen, in other words, if his 2 finalists are within the same section of the draw, and obviously
they shouldn't be though.
But
1 and 2.
But it could happen. It could happen. Roger just withdrew from Montreal, so therefore I'm sure he has some points to lose, so that might shift him. I don't know if it will or not. We'll see. But if for some reason, or on the women's side, I mean, it could happen on the women's side. But if his final predictions and winners are not allowed to happen, he is definitely entitled to a change. Roll it out.
He says Federer defeats Nadal. Wow, Federer Nadal, huh? Kerber defeats Halep.
Ooh, tough. Good predictions, though.
He's gutsy. I can't even pick that yet. I couldn't pick Halep unless I saw her play a lot of hard courts. And as for Federer, I'm not sure about him.
Be careful with this noise.
I'm sure they can hear me. You
I don't
always
know.
say that.
No, sometimes it goes 30 minutes sometimes, and if you're talking and you can't hear, she talks kind of low sometimes.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No. But anyways, I hope to see a Federer-Nadal final. I really do. Of course, I want Nadal to win because I want him to get closer to Federer. And Kerber-Halep, I don't see that happening. I just don't see that one happening.
It's possible. I mean, it's possible, right?
I don't think Halep is strong enough to win a U.S. Open. She's too small, and last year she had she almost lost
Sloane
to
Stephens played in the final last year.
Yeah, but didn't Halep she lost to another American?
Sloane Stephens?
Davis, that was her name. Davis, Lauren Davis. She lost last year.
That's a good memory.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Lauren Davis is really nothing special, but she lost to her last year.
So look, I think Federer and Nadal could very, very, very well happen for the final. It could.
It could.
I'm sorry, but no matter what happens, I think Djokovic wins it. I just do. Again, we've talked about this before. If they're the top 3 that everyone has to battle against, who right now at this point in time, I still have to slide Djokovic in there. So I'm not quite 100% with you, Furzy09. I think it would be an epic final. I'd love to see it, but I think Djokovic slides into play either one of those guys. If not Del Potro, maybe. Yeah, maybe not. Doubtful, but
We'll see. Or
So-
maybe we'll have a new U.S. Open champion, which would be nice to see.
Yeah, but on the women's side, Kerber and Halep,
It's unpredictable right now.
it's highly possible. It's really highly possible. I like the Halep in there. I do. I don't like Wozniacki at this tournament at all.
Well, he said Kerber.
I know. Well, I know. I just brought up that one. Muguruza. Okay.
She has a good shot. Why not? She won Wimbledon. She won the French Open. I mean, I'm sure she wants to win the U.S. Open.
Hasn't she been kind of falling into this whole social media thing though?
No, she has not.
So she hadn't become a poster girl in
No,
Florida,
she
California.
No, if you look at Muguruza, she's really a plain Jane. She doesn't put too much makeup on. She really doesn't have to do much to herself to look pretty.
Yeah, I simply said that last comment about has she fallen victim to
She's made it
self-reference?
far. No.
Because Furzio9's next portion of his comment stated the following: too much money comes from sponsorship and image, so why work so hard when money comes anyway? All right. So first of all, we have a couple comment of the day candidates, and that's one of them. Simply, it's short, it's to the point, it's hardcore, it's in your face. Too much money comes from sponsorship and image, so why work so hard when money comes anyway? Quote. That's hard hitting, that's in your face stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's, hey man, I just hit one down the line there. So all I'm saying is that a winner, I'm not going to let that out of the bag yet, but it's very true. We can go back to the likes of Kornikova. We can look at Bouchard. We can look at come on, give me another social media.
Well, with Capriati, it happened at the beginning of her career where they were giving her too many sponsorships and she didn't win a Grand Slam.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is it's very true. If
Same with Agassi. Agassi had a whole bunch of sponsorships before he even won anything.
Yeah. So hypothetically, if I am Mary Jane and I have been training, pretty tough, and it may not be my thing. I've been playing since I was a kid, and I'm burnt out, and my dad's been all over me my entire life. I'm speaking because I see this all the time. I think we can both live this gender reversed. I'm burnt out. I don't want to play anymore. Oh, gee whiz. Now I'm making successful money by me showing my body on a beach or something, or on the back of a donkey, or whatever it may be. But if it comes that easy, if I'm making a $5 million contract because I just did a swimsuit calendar for the next 5 years, and as long as I stay in shape, I can get that money, and I have to train really, really, really hard and still may not even win a first round match and spend all this money instead of making anything at that point, I mean, yeah, why would you work so hard? I get that. I think that's where, and we'll talk about this later, I think this is why I think it was Kiyosama mentioned that it's not that there's not social media in other places. They have social media in Romania versus the United States, but it's more. It seems that on that side of the world, they seem to be hungrier.
Yeah, it's sad that they give these girls that much money because, in reality, there are pretty girls in the world. There are a lot of models in the world. There are a lot of women that look better than these girls that they're paying contracts to, show their bodies or whatever. So I don't know why they would do that. I think that they should pay more money and give them more sponsorship when you have won Grand Slams, when you are an accomplished, high-ranked player. There are a lot of players out there that work hard and they don't have those sponsorships. You don't see them on commercials. It's sad. I mean, it's like you're telling the world, oh, just because you're semi-decent looking, you're going to get these sponsorships. Or because you curse or you're a bad boy, you're going to get these sponsorships. It's not right.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you look at Djokovic, a lot of you guys have gone on top of me about that. Even he doesn't have, you don't see him in commercials and, as much as you see Kyrgios all over the place.
Yeah, this is a good point here, and I was going to throw that in there. I actually wrote Nick Kyrgios' name in here, and I don't mean to once again mention Kyrgios in any way, shape, or form. I believe in proper publicity. However, business 101 is there's no such thing as negative publicity in a sense, to a degree, I guess you could say. So Kyrgios, for instance, he sells the bad boy image and doing these obscene gestures, and let's not even get into all that. But there's also young, spoiled tennis players whose mommy and daddies have a whole lot of money, and because their little kid likes whatever, or likes to be the kind of bad boy, He wants the Kyrgios frame. He wants the shirt that he's wearing. He doesn't want to be the Federer wannabe and so forth. And that's how marketing sells. And unfortunately, for people like Kyrgios, for people like Bouchard, for people like Kornikova, I mean, gee whiz, she mentioned Agassiz and all these other people. Once they can make tens of millions of dollars through sponsorships, I think the mind then takes over of, wait a minute, is this all I work for is money, or do I work for legacy? And I think
I'd rather have the legacy.
I'd rather have the legacy. If I had to live under a bridge knowing I could see future or see forward in time and had to suffer for a lot of years in order to win just one major tournament, I would do it.
Same here.
I would do it. I would take all 5 of my kids, all 5 of them, Carla, we'd post up in a tent right there if we had to. We've been through hotel rooms with all 7 of us for months at a time. In one room with a couch and a bed with 7 people, a dog and a cat in the same room. Did we not?
Yes.
For months. So believe me, if I could do that again, but inside of a tent right up here in the middle of the woods where the raccoons are at night, whatever, bring it. I would love to have that major tournament. And if it was you that could get it, and only you, I would do it with you, simply so I could be on the sideline and watch you get it.
Right. I just think these girls, again, there's so many Instagram models and swimsuit models. They're not even, I'm sorry, Bouchard is not even all that to be in a swimsuit, whatever, cover. I just don't get how these sponsorships think,
Yeah.
You can do this. There are girls, millions of girls, go to Miami, walking down the street, that look better than them, put them in a bathing suit, and you'd pay them a lot less than what you're paying Bouchard, Wozniacki, etc.
Exactly. Great point, Furzy09. Great. That's up for comment of the day. Well deserved. That was really, really, really well put out there. Boom. To the point. Loved it. Third comment, Kiyosama. Quick shout out to Kiyosama. I'm reading this off because I really wanted to make sure I let Kiyosama know how much we appreciate her writing and comments. I implore anyone watching to read Kia's comments. Again, how these comments work is we comment on comments that were left on yesterday or the day before or the last of the previous show, and she comes in with some really good stuff. I mean, good stuff. I can't read them all here because they get lengthy, but believe me, it's so well written. It's probably better than any blog that you'll read from any source. It's worth reading. If you're going to read some other media outlet, it's worth reading hers. She mentioned the thunderstorm at 17 minutes and 20 seconds into yesterday's part 2 video. Yep, we talked about that already. It was intense. Wow. She mentioned the idea of the younger generation players. Why haven't they got to the next level yet? And I mentioned that as a possible topic. She's right. She called me out, and I totally am with her on this one. Yesterday, I kind of got wrapped up in the moment again, as I usually do, and mentioned that, hey, why aren't these kids taking over? I mentioned the whole self-relishing social media stuff, and she's right. We're beating a dead horse with that. Totally agree. So I think that why I mentioned it again, and my apologies for doing so, was because yesterday we watched Sloane Stephens and Osaka win matches, and instead of at their interview afterwards talking about their game, their fitness, and whatever, we got to hear about their video games and their social media posts, and the commentators were asking them about them. So to me, I just was flustered about...
Well, one commentator.
Yeah, one commentator.
He's big into social media as well.
Yeah, Gimelstob or whatever. Anyway, I'm not saying guy's a bad guy, but man, I mean, I'm watching a sports channel. It's like me. Look, I watch basketball sometimes, and like, if I want to watch something about basketball, I want to watch guys playing basketball, hustling and grinding it out. Or something like, I think LeBron just opened up a school for kids in Cleveland. Amazing. I mean, absolutely.
That's awesome.
I mean,
he's putting his money into use.
Good job for him. I didn't mean to say that. I'll get back on this lane, but stuff like that is what I want to see. Heartwarming and toughness. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to see Gimelstob asking someone about what's your latest social media post gonna be. Who needs it? So that's why I brought it back up. So I'm sorry for that. But I do agree with you. We're not going to really... We've beat a dead horse on this one enough. I think we're all on the same brainwave. All right, so next, she goes deep here. I mean, deep. She brings out that, corrects me on something, like it, respect it. And then 3, now we're still going to keep going, but she brings up Wawrinka and Murray. Can you read that segment?
Sure. She says, as for my predictions for the US Open, like Carla, I really want to see what happens at the upcoming hardcourt events leading to the Grand Slam. As you must have already seen, Stan the man got knocked out by Donald Young. So that doesn't look too promising. All the same, the Stan animal can be struck by lightning on any given day and play lights out. Still dangerous player, but not in my top 5. Same goes with Murray. Don't see him going deeper either, as I'm already prepping for the excuse about his hip when he loses. I do wish him the best of luck, though.
Yeah, first of all, very well written there. Again, she wrote a lot before this. But I like that one paragraph there because not only did she mention Murray, also mentioned the typical excuses that we may or may not hear. She also mentioned Wawrinka and that, yeah, I mean, lightning could strike, he could win the U.S. Open again, right? He's won it once.
I think he's starting. We watched that match last night. I watched it more than you, and he was missing a lot of shots,
he missed
a lot of backhands. I mean, you could still see he's rusty. He's got his old coach back, Magnus Norman.
Yeah.
So I don't think this loss is a bad thing for him. I mean, if Wawrinka would have played 10% of what he usually plays, he would have beat Donald Young.
Yeah, agree. It took the words right out of my mouth. Wawrinka missed a lot. And Donald Young played great, so it was still close given that Wawrinka was way off and Donald Young was way on. So if Wawrinka was at 10% better, the match would have been the other way.
And I felt bad for Donald Young. I was listening that he had only won 2 matches the whole year, and he had to qualify for this tournament.
So good for him, too.
So it was a good win for him. I mean, the guy doesn't even have sponsorships. If you looked at his shirt, I never heard of the company. His racket was all black.
Yeah.
His shoes, I don't even know what brand
like
he
my
had.
duct tape. I got my duct tape. See my duct tape?
Yeah.
Got my duct tape. See that?
So I mean, you felt for the guy. Here's a promising American junior that really didn't accomplish much at the pro level. You know, so it's a good win for him. I can't imagine that he's making a lot of money on the tour.
I mean, great. Look, I know we have been honestly hard on Donald Young before.
Yeah.
And from an American tennis standpoint, yes, deservedly so. However, from the story that I kind of soaked in from yesterday, watching the match, the little bit of it that I watched, is that he had heart, and
he was fighting.
He had a college player that admired him watching on the sideline. I think he needs to thank that young man who was supporting him yesterday.
He's an upcoming player too. I heard he's pretty good.
Yeah,
from Georgia. He played at Georgia Tech. I forgot his name.
Georgia Tech. Yeah. So good. And look, good job, Donald Young. Again, but in all reality, do I expect Donald Young to go very far at the U.S. Open? Maybe win a round or two, but no further. Maybe not shock the world, but I respect what I saw from Donald Young last night. But in reality, I think that Wawrinka, if they played again at the U.S. Open, would dismiss him rather easily.
Yeah, and as far as Andy Murray, I kind of saw him when I was watching the replay match. He looked weird walking. It just didn't look right. It looked like his hip was bothering him again. You know, he didn't look right. He looked like an older gentleman walking to the next side of the court every time he was receiving serve. I just thought it was a little bit odd.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. He didn't look like he was as fast as he used to be. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
All right. So look, I'm telling you though, Kia is the consummate pro here in terms of what she does. In terms of these comments, she rolls right into Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, Isner, Del Potro, their points that they have or may not have to defend, and more. So Carla's going to really read through this clip quickly, and if you want to read it in entirety, go back to the last show, part 2, and check it out.
So she says, which leaves us to Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer. I want to see what those three do at Toronto. I know Fed is out. And at Cincinnati. Oh, and of course, how their draw sets up at the Open. So no predictions here. Even though my heart says that Djokovic will go all the way, I'm still sitting on the fence about it all. Why? Because there's a dangerous lurker. Well, 2 actually, who have been known to give Novak issues on hard courts, Delpo and Isner. And them 2 are my dark horses to win the whole thing. On the plus side, Novak's got no points to defend, so at the end of the year, the pressure he usually gets at the U.S. Open won't be there. I mean, with hard courts being his favorite, you'd think he would have won more than 2 titles there.
Ooh, Kaya.
I am surprised by that, because he's got 8 Australian Opens.
Kaya's bringing the pain today.
Novak has 8 Australian Opens. I mean, they're both hard courts. I think one's faster than the other. So I'm a little surprised that he has less U.S. Opens. A lot less.
Did she not just mention the ultimate dream team for your fantasy team for the U.S. Open? Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, Isner, Del Potro. Let's go, Kia Sama.
Those are good picks. I just can't.
Those are great picks.
I can't pick Isner. I have to take him out. I just have to. I can't.
Oh my! Look,
I can't take
Djokovic,
Isner.
Nadal, Federer, Isner, Del Potro. Let's go.
Yeah, those I agree with. Minus Isner, just because his wife is pregnant, expecting a child around that time.
So we might be able to get.
And
this,
I don't think so. I just don't think Isner will make it far, or
Whew.
even play.
Man, she pumped me up. So we had Furzy09 with his U.S. Open prediction. She just rolls out points and a dream fantasy team. Wow. And then she rolls into the women aspect of it to end it. Drum roll here on the women's part. Read the women's part.
For the women, you already know my thoughts about Serena's chances. Won't blink an eye if she ends up in the final. But to win it, So who are the contenders? Halep, Kerber again. Will lightning strike twice for Wozniacki? Will Ostapenko finally get her head screwed on straight and show us what she's really about? Could Sloane Stephens finally put down her phone and show us that a streak of brilliance from last year? Can you tell? Really? I have no idea who's going to take this one. Oi.
Man. What?
She's a true tennis fan.
Hey, there's no one watching here that if you go back and read that cannot tell me that was an absolutely well executed writing segment. I'm telling you. I can't really add anything to that because I will take away from its integrity.
Yeah.
Too good. It's a good shot. Next point. Humble, right? I mean,
those are good picks. I mean, she's right about Sloane Stephens. I mean, I think she won that U.S. Open, and I don't think she can repeat it. I just don't see her repeating it. Her year has been like this.
Yeah. Based upon how closely she played Maddox Sands yesterday, and then just after, instead of like really being mad at herself, like, man, I should have played better. I should have beat her 2-2, and I need to work on my fitness or my footwork or whatever it is. She's kind of frolicking in the Puff the Magic Dragon Optimist in a land called social phone bogusness.
Yeah, as for Wozniacki, I think that she should be happy that she won the Australian Open. I don't see more for her. I mean, she could finally say, I won a slam, you know?
I don't think Wozniacki is going to have a shot at this U.S. Open. I just don't. I think it's going to be someone powerful, and we're going to get into that in part 2. So right now we're about 30 minutes in, so instead of having to just push you out into the end, we're going to just say, hey, right here we're going to stop, and we are going to start part 2 immediately, and then we will download them as usual, part 1 first, followed by part 2, and we're going to get right into more viewer comments from Rahesh, someone new that commented, some topics that have to do with Benoit Pierre's racket smashing, Wawrinka losing to Donald Young, Serena going down in the worst defeat ever, Nadal's future prospects on 1 and 2 in the world, some future matches this evening and some that just played today. So we're going to get into that and more in part 2. So, hey, thanks everybody for watching. Click a like below, subscribe below. Check out our very young website at www.5ktennis.com. Again, we are just creating that, but you can go there and kind of search around, and I have our oldest son trying to organize it somewhat. But maybe to no avail, but we will try nonetheless. All right? Thanks so much, and as Carla always says,
Adios.